The family of Mitchell Kiefer has been working for years to get people to put their phones down. In 2016, Mitchell was killed when a distracted driver hit his car, pushing him into oncoming traffic, where he was hit again. His family started a foundation with a mission to stop distracted driving.
Joining us this evening are Mitchell's father, Steve Kiefer, and Michigan State Police Lieutenant Mike Shaw here in the studio. Thank you both for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
So, Steve, I'd like to start with you. It's been several years now since you got that phone call that no parent should ever have to get. What led you to take the devastation and the pain that your family has felt and turn that into action and getting involved in the way that you have?
Yeah, well, we all deal with grief in different ways. My son Mitchell was an amazing young man, an 18-year-old young man that wanted to change the world. And after losing him, we thought, what better way to honor his memory than to help change the world in his memory. So that's when we went down the path of trying to do anything we can to make the roads of the world safer. And I recall when we first made our commitment to get these laws passed in Michigan, my friend Mike Shaw said, it's going to be a tough road, Steve. It took us 5 years to do it, but I'm so glad that we were able to do it. Nice to see you, Mike.
Nice to see you as well.
And Lieutenant Shaw, can you tell us a bit? Has anything changed? Have you noticed differences being made since this law was passed?
You know, I would like to say, yes, it's just totally changed everything, but let's face facts. It's about compliance, right? We can educate people and we can enforce it, but it has to get to the point where people really understand what this means when you're behind the wheel, and the amount of people that are dying. And we're seeing a lot of numbers that are coming out, but we also know those numbers are very low. They're not as high as they would actually be, because quite honestly, a lot of times officers didn't ask them, hey, what were you doing before that traffic crash? And a lot of people, believe it or not, don't necessarily tell us the truth of what they were doing before that traffic crashes either. But I don't want to be the downer of everything too. I think people will slowly get to learn, but this one's a lot different than seatbelts or other type of enforcement, because let's face it, we are addicted to our cell phones. We're all on them all the time, and we just have to educate people. If you can't handle that fact, throw it in your trunk, put it in your glove box, do whatever you have to do to make sure that you're not on that phone and you're just concentrating on driving.
Steve, what was it like for you? I mean, I imagine it really changed things for you, your family, all of your loved ones. It's probably a lot easier for you to stay focused on the road. What do you think it'll take for other people to understand what's truly at risk?
Well, I certainly hope it won't take other families going through the same thing we went through. That's always our hope, and that's why all of the victims' families that I know take their time and they go out to schools and they go out to receptions to tell these stories, because we hope that the stories are impactful enough to get people to change their behavior. As Mike just mentioned, though, this is a real behavioral change. I see it much more like drunk driving in the 80s and 90s, where stiff penalties for many years started to change behavior. Probably not so much because people thought they were going to hurt someone, but because they thought they'd lose their license. We're hoping that with these laws and some stiff enforcement, people will again be able to change behavior and look at holding the phone just like they might look at holding alcohol in the car.
Has there been any sort of changes people have made, like phone mounts in their car, or things that you've seen that have been helpful?
We have seen that. So a lot of people are using some of the technology that's in the car, the Bluetooth and things like that. Cars that don't have it, we've seen a lot of people slowly moving into having those mounts and things like that. But unfortunately, we still see the person, and you don't have to be a trooper or a cop. We all see it, right? You're driving past somebody, and it used to be when they're weaving in their lane, we would all say, oh, there's a drunk driver. But now we all know that that's not really probably a drunk driver. The statistics are it's going to be a distracted driver. So we just got to keep pushing this along with this education component all during April. And sometimes, when you stop somebody, it's not necessarily a ticket or that part. And don't get me wrong, I'll take money out of your pocket if that's what it takes. I mean, if we really got to take money out of your pocket to get you to stop doing that, we will. But I'd rather sit down and talk to you and say, hey, I don't want to go to your house tonight and tell your family that you died because you were driving distracted, or go to somebody else's house and say, hey, sorry, your loved one will never make another holiday again because somebody was driving distracted. So we got to kind of look at what the real consequences is, and it's not money or time or anything like that. 57 people died in distracted driving crashes in 2022. 57 moms, dads, brothers, sisters that will never come back. And I think that's what we have to look at with this. This is serious stuff that we need to really pay attention to what we're doing when we're behind the wheel.
You know, sometimes there's the added distraction of people trying to sort of hide the initial distraction. You see that a lot. Kelly mentioned earlier that you can press one button. So there are ways to avoid this. So can we go over that for viewers? If, let's say you have a mounted cell phone.
Right. So the biggest thing, so the first law that we had at the beginning was very vague. It was very hard to enforce. It talked about texting and all that stuff. The new law, you know, through Governor Whitmer's leadership, we changed that law. We complained about it a lot. As far as what we wanted to see. And this is what it takes to violate Michigan's hands-free law. This is it. If I see you like this, you violated the law. You don't have to be down here texting or whatever. This is it. So you need to actually put it in a mount, hook it up to your Bluetooth, throw it into the glove box. You can use it for one swipe only, but we recommend put everything in there beforehand. Tune that radio station to what you want it to be. You know, if you're using it for a GPS, which we all do, then program your GPS before you put it into drive. And then your GPS is going, it's talking to you, it's telling you. It's still distracting, right? I mean, we're getting there, but, you know, we want to make sure that people are really paying attention and putting their eyes focused on the road and not on this thing here.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Shaw and Steve Kiefer, for joining us and keeping us informed. Very important.
All right. Appreciate everything you're both doing. Thanks for joining us.